I think that gives everyone a lot of hope. And we all need hope in the crazy world we live in now. I think if we have tools that we didn't know, try them out, see if they'll work for us.
Financial independence.
Freedom.
Financial picture.
Independent financially.
Financial future.
Financial freedom and wealth.
Financial independence.
Get your fill. Financial independence and long life. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Get Your Fill, Financial Independence and Long Life, where we explore ways to achieve those two goals. Wonderful people come on to help us, especially people who help us to have long, happy, fun lives. And that's why I'm very excited that Ann Pels is with us today. She shows people exactly how to buy existing, done-for-you, professionally managed businesses that make $10K a month with 1 hour a week of their time, and how to find funding for that within 30 days. So in a month from now, you can be making, it sounds like you could be making $10K a month for 1 hour of your time. And that sounds very compelling. Tell us more.
We've had a long journey for us, but when my kids were little, about 20 years ago, we got laid off and there was a pink slip of paper that all of a sudden the money was gone. And that was our only way to earn income at the time for my husband. I was helping the little ones at home. And gosh, I just never had imagined that anything like that could happen. My go to school, get a good job plan went, and now I'm seeing that happen more and more with people our age and all ages. We went on a journey to try and figure out how can we make sure that there's always enough money and that we get to live that long life full of purpose, and that our money and time is good. So about 5 years ago, finally, after lots of figuring and asking questions, we found one of our teams, and they're on lifegiverlegacy.com, our website. So 2 phone calls, one's to save you hundreds of thousands of dollars, one's to help you earn hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the first phone call helps you get that funding for those businesses if you want to do that within 30 days. And then the search for the business will take a little bit longer than 30 days, depending. Some people find the one they want right away and they're good. And some people are like, no, I want a very specific kind of business that I'm interested in. I don't need to run it because the management team will take care of it. Then we're just on a phone call like this, 1 hour a week. That's how come it can be 1 hour a week, that they take care of the day-to-day details. And then we're just able to get information from them about, well, we need to hire this person, or we need to increase marketing here, or decrease expenses here, and things like that. So it's kind of a collaboration with the management team to make sure that it works the way you're expecting it to, that you have the income coming in. What I really like about that second phone call for the existing businesses is just feeling like we're helping all those baby boomers that are retiring and they want to be done with everything that they've been working on for 30 or 40 years, but they don't want to feel like it just goes out the door and it's gone. So I feel like that's a valuable win-win. People sell businesses for various reasons, but that's one big one, that they're done. They want to have a good retirement and live that long life now. And but they want to feel like everything they've worked so hard on can carry on without them and still make an impact for the people they were serving and helping with their business. So that's my favorite part, is just instead of taking those 20 years figuring it out like we did, you can at least have the 2 phone calls. I call it giving a permission slip. Let's just get a permission slip to imagine that we can have that financial independence and long life. And what is it like if this year we find a business that will earn at least 10K a month for us? Some people are going for much larger businesses than that because they want 500,000 a year to retire on, or 200,000 a year, or so basically it's kind of customized to what you want. Different areas where we are, you can easily live on $100,000. California and New York probably would need a little bit more. So, we just try and customize for what the person wants to buy and how much income they want to have. And then the other phone call, the first one where we get the funding, helps people pay their houses off in 5 years instead of 30, which is a huge interest savings, and created the solution for our family finally about what if the pink slip happens again. What if a job loss or a accident or a health challenge, something comes up that we don't plan on? Life is full of, oh, I didn't plan on that. Oh, and I was so grateful. It's just a blessing and a miracle to be able to realize that there really are people that can teach you how to do that without changing income and expenses at all. So that phone call changed my life, and I'm determined that everyone has a chance to learn about it if they want it. And even if you don't use my teams, I think final tip, but is that when I was 15, Grandpa said, "Can't is not in my dictionary." And I was like, "Yes, it is. It's between B and D, right here in the C's, can't." And he's like, "No, the word can't shuts down all of our options. I just don't use it. Instead, I say, how can I? How can I have that financial independence and long life? How can I get the results that I want? How can I create those memories with my family? How can I free up my time? How can I have better health? How can I?" And I thought, at 15, I just kind of looked at him and thought about it. Did not really think about it that much, what he was trying to teach me, but I'm grateful for Grandpa now, because after that pink slip, we had to start learning how to ask that question. Like, oh my word, everything just blew up. And now we've got to figure out next thing. How do we do it now and create other ways to have income coming in?
So, Ann, the done for you business, can you kind of define that for people who aren't really familiar with that term?
um, for me, it just meant that I wouldn't have to be an owner operator. We've run several businesses over the years trying to avoid that pink slip again. But they were 60, 80-hour weeks, and I couldn't really stop and have dinner and have my family and life. And so we knew we needed to find some business solutions where we would have systems and teams and automation that created, yeah, a system that makes it so that other people are helping, and I can spend the amount of time that I want on it, but not be in the overwhelmed place that a lot of people think when they go, "Oh, I need to start a business, or I need to figure this out." I I don't go for the startups. I go for things that have already been existing for 20, 30 years. They have really good profit margins. They're in really stable industries like home services and or other things that people need all the time. And they've made it through all the crazy things that can happen in the economy, and they're still doing just fine. So to me, that's a DFY business. That's something where we can bring in a management team that's on our website. They help us manage it, and we can just prepare to have that income happen, and of course still stay in the loop. I kind of like to keep my finger on things and just be aware of what's happening, like you would for a recipe in the oven. You're like, okay, the chicken's going to be done in 30 minutes, so in 25 minutes I'm going to be checking on it, things like that. And I feel like if I can help people have that choice or that option to have that kind of a business where most of it's just happening. I call it the crock pot. I just really love crock pots because you put all the ingredients in and then it's done on time for dinner. And I don't have to think about it that much and still do everything else I was planning to do that day. But I know that the what's for dinner question is solved. And to me, if businesses run that way, or any income, people do real estate too, lots of different ways to have income coming in. And I feel like that's what I prefer, because I've tried the other and it was long and hard and difficult to find that work-life balance, in my opinion. Lots of fun. They don't have to use my teams. There's lots of teams out there that'll help. I think it started for us with that question, how can I? Instead of just saying, oh, I can't, I'm not good enough, I don't know what to do, and all the things that sometimes we tell ourselves about money and about business and things like that. Instead, I think, how can I have it? How can someone help me do that? If they do it better than me, I feel like they should do it. And it's totally fine to let them help. And then everybody wins.
So what you're the people who you're working with, they're providing the startup capital, or not the startup, but the capital to purchase an existing business. Is that basically what's happening?
Yeah, they do have ways to do that. Or you can bring in your own capital. I partner with people. We love partners. That's you share and bring together what each of the partners has to make sure that it works for everybody. I really like, well, just like a great recipe, when everybody brings in their favorite, all the best ingredients, then the end result turns out great. And even for those people that have owned the business forever, that they just feel like it's in good hands and it will go forward from here to create the legacy that they started the business for, right? They want to have it keep doing what it needs to do for good in the world. So
Your team there, is that like a management company, or how does that all work with when you say
yeah,
your team, what does that mean?
there are several of them. They've already done several hundred businesses. And when we came across them, I just thought, oh, I'd be so grateful if I could have an opportunity to have that happen for our family. And then we have an opportunity to share it with you and anyone else who listens to this. So they have a marketing team and a sales team and other people who can manage the day-to-day and give feedback and reports to us. And that's part of that team. And I tried to put, I guess I just really like simple, like ingredients with 5 ingredients or less, done in 30 minutes. And that's what we put on the lifegiverlegacy.com website, is just click here if you'd like some more information. Click here if you want to find out. And then people can follow up and just get the information and start asking questions. I feel like often we don't know what we don't know. And so we don't know what's possible. And like I didn't know it was possible to pay a house off in 5 years until 5 years ago. And it revolutionized our whole life. Like within 30 days, we could see a good trajectory. And within 2 years, 200,000 of our mortgage had been paid off, even without changing anything. We still did everything that we were doing, our activities, our income and expenses. Nothing changed, just the way we calculated interest. And I think it's often like that with money. There's just something we don't know that we don't know. And if we find someone who is doing what we want and we ask them, how can I also do that? They love to give feedback and ideas and, well, this worked, but that maybe didn't work so well. It speeds me up if I can learn from someone and not have to do all the experimenting and trying to get the recipe right myself, I like speed up and safer, faster and safer, I guess, is my hope for all of us to have that life that we're looking for.
So if I were listening to the podcast, and it would seem incredible to me that you could pay your mortgage off in 5 years without changing anything, because clearly
Right.
something would need to change or else you'd just be in the same
I
place.
know,
So.
like, it's just they calculate differently on the way they do interest. And so everything that we earned that month, for example, would go into paying right on the principal first. And they do it in Australia and New Zealand all the time. Another name for it is called speed equity. That's how they buy 2 houses in the time that it takes us to buy one here in the United States. I was astounded. I was so grateful because we have moved quite often in my last 30 years since that pink slip happened, and this makes it so we can get really good headway on any house that we live in. I wish it was more widely known here in the United States. By that 2-year mark and we had $200,000, I went, wow, what could we buy with $200,000 that would make this go even faster? And so that's when we started looking for businesses, real estate, other cash flowing things that would bring income into us. And then all of that income helps to pay the house down as well. It's just the best recipe I've ever seen. I wish I had known about it 25 years ago, but at least now I can tell my children and other people that age who are like, well, I don't even know if we can afford a house. in the generation behind us, I think that gives everyone a lot of hope. And we all need hope in the crazy world we live in now. It's, I think if we have tools that we didn't know and we try them out, see if they'll work for us. There's a calculator there that's free. And that's what really started it for me. My husband, just put it in the calculator. I just want to know that it's going to work. And then I could see that the recipe was actually going to happen the way they said. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this could change everything. If we ever lost a job again or had another anything, whatever, we would still be okay because we can pull that 200,000 back in and out whenever we need to for emergencies or to buy a business or to whatever we needed. And it just gave me such a relief feeling compared to the pink slip day where I went, oh my word, the world just fell out of our life and we still have to pay for food and water, electricity, and all those things that people have. And if I'd known about this back then, we would have been able to figure out a lot of different options that we didn't know about. So I'm grateful. I would not have wanted that pink slip day, but sometimes the hard things that happen to us are the best things after all, in the long run. I'm sure everybody who listens to this will have had their own hard thing that turned into a good thing. But I'm grateful, but it was hard, and now it's good. I'm grateful.
So what I'd like to have, Ann, and what I think would really help people is some specifics about about how it works and about how, like tell us how you went about it. Are you like moving your mortgage to a different company that you said calculates the interest differently? You said you're paying down on the principal, but that would mean that your expenses would be higher because you'd be taking some of the money that you used to do something else with and putting it on the principal. So I'm still a little bit confused about how it could work.
We actually just had a discovery call with them, and they asked us generally what our income and expenses were. Did we have at least $100 a month extra that we weren't using for anything? And I said yes. And then we had a conversation with that team, and they showed us on the calculator because of the way the interest was calculated. And they gave us actually a list of about 25 different lenders that do this. So for me, it was just a process of, wow, show me on the calculator with my income and expenses what that would look like. And knowing that I could, like, for example, if you make 10,000 a month and your expenses are 7,000 a month, we can put that extra 3,000 right into the principal, but it didn't increase my expenses because I can always pull that right back out if we had an emergency, the fridge broke, or I needed to get a different car or something. So I was just astounded. I did not realize that there were even mortgages like that. It's more like a line of credit than a typical mortgage because typical banks, if you lose a job or something, they're not going to say, oh, I'm so sorry, you don't need to pay your payment for 6 months. And this one is more like that. It just opened up a lot of opportunity for us. It's a two-edged sword. You could really put yourself in a hole if you spend more than you make, but that happens with any income and expenses, but if you at least have a little bit extra that you're not using, it works for everyone. And wow, yeah, I wished I'd known about it 20 years before. It would have changed the way we do mortgages. I think our house payment and our tax payments are usually the biggest things that people have to grapple with. And this was just a open door that I didn't realize was available. So I was grateful for that team, people that knew something I didn't know, and they were willing to help me get there too. I don't think any of us get where we want to go on a long life and financial independence without other people helping us. So I really, yeah, I love teams. I love partners. I love just kind of setting up a system that does that automatically without me having to think about it. And that's what they taught us how to do. It's just here, you do your bills this way with this kind of a mortgage, choose from these 5 companies that can do that for you, and ask them these questions, compare notes, and see what will make the most sense for your specific situation. And that helped me to have a lot of peace of mind about it, because it was so very different from typical the way mortgages work. And I'm grateful. Like, different is sometimes amazing, and it was. Yeah.
And for the other side, buying a business where it's established and it's been in business for a while, and now I'm assuming, stop me if I'm making a mistake or misquoting you, that the owner now wants to transition, they want to move on and do something different. And then you're saying that this team comes in and takes over the management of that business.
Yeah.
So if they're giving you the money and they're giving you the management, why wouldn't they just own the company themselves?
They do. They have a 20% share in the profits for managing it for you. But what they saw happening, and I've seen it happening too over the last 3, 4, 5 years as the baby boomers are retiring, is that there were a lot of businesses for sale and not a way for people to buy them. So they thought, what if we figured out a way to help things get financed and purchased, and we put ourselves right in the middle right here to make sure that both of those parts that need to happen actually could match up and win for both sides of, the buyer and the seller. People that want that income now and want to have a business, and the seller that wants to get it sold but can't figure out how to, how do we find the right person to buy it. And so that's how they found their little spot. If we help get those 2 pieces to work together, they have specific banks and specific funding right here to help that, and then they help contact the seller to see how we can make that into all the puzzle pieces to put together to make it work. And for me, that really helped, because I wanted, when I was looking at it, to say, well, how about, could we do that for our family? I wanted to find out, how do they know if it's a good business? And that it's going to keep doing what it's been doing this last 20 years. And one of the friends that I talked to said, well, we were actually looking at a trucking business, and they said, no, don't buy that one because of these things. And they gave us some specific pointers to look at and helped us to find a trucking company that would fulfill all the good lists that we want. And that helped me feel more at peace about that as well, because I'm like, well, they didn't want us to just buy anything and then not have a good experience with it. They wanted us to actually buy something that would support our family and create the long life and lifestyle that we wanted, so I can spend time with my grandkids and make good memories with my little ones that are growing up now, since my children are in their 20s. And it's amazing how fast that all went. It does. So that's kind of how so they're right there in the middle to make sure that both sides of it happen really well. Does that make sense?
So what do you recommend to people who want to, pursue this type of path?
For us, it just started with a phone call to ask questions, both for the how to pay your house off faster and how to get that business without having to spend a lot of time on it. Just have those 2 phone calls. Give yourself that permission slip. My friend calls it writing a love letter to the people who come after you, whoever you're trying to impact in the world. She wants to help children in Africa who need heart surgery. It's $1,000 for heart surgery there, life-saving. But it's also $1,000 in some places of Africa for a year of income. And so, I mean, that would be a very hard choice for parents. And so she said, what if we can create more income for families here between saving more money on their house or buying businesses? And then some of that money goes out into the world for good to do amazing things and create legacy and meaningful contribution for people around us, people that are in wildfires or storms and all kinds of things like that. There's so much good to do in the world. And I think that's probably another byproduct of that awful, terrible pink slip day for me. I was just looking for a way to, how can I cover our bills and our expenses? But then it became, what if we could help a few more people? $20 helps. The cost of pizza helps children that need education or that need to be rescued from slavery or any number of other things that are going on for children that are difficult. And anyway, so I think I would just give myself the permission slip to have those phone calls and then feel like I'm writing a love letter to people that are going to be alive long after I'm gone. And
Nice.
all of us have that impact. A smile, a friendly, somebody has paid it forward to me on my hardest days. There's been someone who blessed me and helped me find my light again, find my hope when things were dark. And I think we can all be that for each other in a lot of little and big ways too. So
Nice. And we'll put the links that you suggest in the show notes so that people can find it.
perfect.
So,
Yeah,
Ann,
and
is
then
there anything that you wish I would have asked you? Anything that we haven't touched on that you
oh,
really
I
want to
love
make
that
sure people
question.
understand?
Nope. You asked really good questions. What are the other things that you would like me to help with, or for you or anyone that could be listening? I'm glad to help with anything.
Well, I don't know what's a typical day like for you now.
Once a week I'm on phone call like this with our management teams, and gosh, I'm not the pink slip day. I was very worried about money and what are we going to do? And now I just have a lot of hope, and I feel we get to choose. Typical day starts early in the morning to studies the Bible and other things that are important to me in my heart, and then exercise, take care of our body, take care of our mind, learn something new. I had people teach me how to do that, and they said it will just make everything else go better, and I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Have taking care of our body and our mind and our spirit is part of it, and then having time to just be like, wow, what could we do for good in the world today? What if I sent a kind email or a little note to someone? um I've been so grateful when people have done that for me. So I think just gosh, now that time and money are kind of taken care of, we get to create magic and memories more. And I think for many, many years, I thought money was hard. It's hard. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? But what if it's easy? What if there are ways to save hundreds of thousands of dollars without changing much about what's going on in your life? And what if there is a way to, lots of different ways, it doesn't have to be with my teams, but lots of ways to have income coming in, like a crock pot on autopilot. So I'm grateful. That pink slip day was awful, but I wouldn't have even known to try and look for anything else if we'd been able to keep our job and the plan that I had all these years, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes when our plans go way different than we planned, it's a good thing. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to even be here talking about it with you. I love the idea of love letters and permission slips to really create that financial independence and the long life that we love, that we get to have that even earlier in life. We don't have to wait till we're 65 or 70 to have that. What if we could create that for our children and the people after us in their 20s and 30s, and it didn't have to be a long, arduous, terrible, crazy that I thought money was during all of those years. But what if it's not? What if it's easier than that?
Yeah, that's the perfect question to leave people with. I love that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Excellent. And thanks so much for coming on today and sharing this
Oh, yeah.
exciting thing that people can do some research on and see if it could
Yeah.
work for them, see if it could be a way to change their lifestyle for the
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, or they might find something even better that seems to fit with what they need, and that's great too. Glad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The world is our oyster.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And thank you, listener, for listening. I want you to think about who you want to share this episode with and share Ann's wisdom with some folks that you know. And be sure to be here with us next week and see what we have in store for you then. Thank you.